Hey guys, it's Lindsay, also known as By Me Fox. Welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. If you haven't, thank you so much for dropping by. I draw random things and encourage you to draw along with me or create in whatever way that you choose to create, or just watch the randomness and you can be a passenger. Today I'm going to work on drawing the last of the original starter Pokemon as a magical girl, Squirtle. I'm really hoping to get Squirtle's magical girl and witch form done. That way I can do a special Pokemon the week of Halloween, because I really have a great idea and I want to get that knocked out. So that is my goal today. I'm also going to talk a little bit about how to deal with the fear of creating things and putting them out there on the internet. I know for a lot of people that the worst case scenario is so hugely jarring that it keeps them from actually doing it. So I just want to talk about my worst case scenarios, the things that I've dealt with, and how I've kind of worked through the fear of creating something and putting it out there online. Which, as you guys have seen, I'm not the best at it. We all know this. So, you know, if I can do it, you can do it, I promise. But anyways, that is what we're going to do today. I said I was going to make these intros shorter, so I'm going to make these intros freaking shorter if it kills me. Let's go. So let's talk about what's the worst that can happen if you put your stuff out on the internet. This is going to be different for every person. So if you have a worst case scenario, comment below. What do you think the worst thing that's going to happen if you actually put your stuff out on the internet? For me, worst case scenario is being completely ignored. I know there's 1,000 freaking people a day posting crap out there. Instagram, YouTube, all of this kind of stuff. There's way more than 1,000 people, but there's all kinds of people putting stuff out daily, and I hate that a lot of times it gets ignored, what you put out there, because it's just become such a part of our lives. We're so inundated with everyone's social media, it doesn't feel as special as it used to. And I recognize the hypocrisy of this coming from someone who mostly does digital art, but it's still true. And so I worry about putting something out and just no one responds to it. Nobody cares that I did it, it just completely goes unlooked at. But honestly, I've gotten used to it. Putting stuff out over and over again, I will say sometimes it hits a little harder than other times, but you just get in the habit of making it for yourself. You want to record your own art journey, you put it out on whatever social media platform you choose, and you appreciate that you are able to create a journal of your growth and who you are as an artist that you can go back and watch, review, whatever, however you want to use it later. But you have a chance to do that. And a lot of times this kind of stuff gets brushed into sketchbooks and then you throw them away or you put them on a shelf and you never see them again. This has that ability to, you have to kind of look at yourself when you put it out there. A lot of people are worried about really negative comments, which always is interesting to me because most people don't say anything unless it's encouraging until you get to be a bigger artist. And then you get a lot of people saying negative things, but you've got so many more people saying positive things that it all kind of, I would imagine, fades away a bit. I know for a lot of people it doesn't. They do really focus on the negative comments and it can really take them down. But, you know, unfortunately, critique is just part of life. You know what, honestly, fortunately, critique is part of life. I was taught going through school that critique was such a normal and natural part of the creative process that you should listen and learn from what people have to say, because a lot of times what they have to say is true if it's coming from a place of love. If it's coming from a, hey, I want to shit on this person and make their day crappy, nobody should listen to that. But if it comes from a, hey, your proportion is off, maybe you should do some more studies, hey, this color theory is a little jacked up, maybe you want to look at it and see if you can balance out your tones better. There's all kinds of positive places that critique can come from. You just kind of have to listen and see where it comes from and what part of it resonates with you and what you want to do with that. Anytime that I'm having a tough time dealing with what I'm putting up on the internet and how it's being perceived, my main focus is to think about why I am putting my stuff out there for other people. Keep in mind, we could all just create privately. We don't have to post every thought we've ever had. I know that's a really, really novel thought nowadays, but you really don't have to. You're choosing to put your stuff out there. And you're choosing to get the level of critique that you get because you put yourself out there. So why are you doing it? For me, I'm doing it because I like the critique. I like having people give me pointers, sometimes malice, sometimes really useful pointers. I like having the process of having people question what I do, and I either argue with it or learn something. Sometimes you can defend yourself. Sometimes you look at it and you're like, that person is just insane, or I'm insane. Either way, I like it. I'm going to move forward with it how it is. And sometimes you look at it and you're like, that was probably correct. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging that you have a place to grow in your art, because everyone has a place to grow in their art for the most part. Another thing for me is always being part of the community. The art community online is kind of the last great online community. I don't really like most of the communities that are happening online, but for some reason the art community is so supportive. It has so much room for growth. It gives you so much perspective in your pieces. And so I like putting my stuff out there so that other people can give me an opinion. I know this kind of like braids in with the first point, and I recognize that, but it's a huge part of why I do it and how I do it. Of course, you want to matter in your community. That's always kind of a hard one to admit, but there's nothing wrong with that. You want to be someone who inspires other people to create, even if it's just through little silly things that you do, even if it's just because you had the guts to go out there and do and create and move the community forward. There's a lot of credit we should really give people for that. And I try to make sure that, I personally go through and I comment on people's stuff, that it's so great that they're out there and they're trying. There's a weird, scary space that happens with creating stuff for the internet, and you should really give people some credit for working through that, doing what they can do, and putting themselves out there. Even if it's not the greatest work, even if the proportion's off, or the pose lacks interest, whatever. There's always something to nitpick on somebody's work, and there's always growth that you can take as an artist. But there's really a lot of credit that should be given for just getting out there, putting your stuff on display, and seeing what people think. So, that is it for my crazy rant. I hope that this helps you deal with some of your nerves for putting your work out there. I hope that you recognize that it doesn't have to be perfect. There's nothing wrong with putting stuff out there that you fully intend to grow with. We've all done it. We'll all do it in the future. It happens. I love, if you haven't seen it, I'll link it below, Hank Green talking about being a brute force creator. There's nothing wrong with just creating as much stuff as you can and learning as you go, seeing what sticks, seeing what inspires you, seeing what inspires your community, and making your adjustments. Get better, do better the next time, and just grow. That's the whole point of art, no matter how long you've been doing it or how good you are at it. Grow. Grow your community, grow who you are, interact with other people, and use it as a way to make yourself a better person. Get rid of all the stuff that's stuck in your head and just create something. Anyways, I've rambled on long enough. If you do like this video, I would appreciate a thumbs up. If you want to see other videos like this, including my super special Halloween video that I'm gonna have to make awesome now because I keep hyping it up, please subscribe. I will definitely do my best to live up to the subscription. And if you hate this video, go ahead and comment what your favorite color is below, because there's no way in hell you're still watching. Let's be realistic. Anyways, you guys have a great day. Bye.